2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday the 27th of September and it's National Chocolate Milk Day. And a big happy birthday to Gwyneth Paltrow, Dennis Lawson, Lil Wayne and Avril Lavigne.
7.
The fallout from Friday's mini budget continued on Monday, with sterling falling to a new low against the dollar. And despite expectations, the Bank of England didn't act to raise interest rates, instead promising they'd adjust by as much as needed in the November meeting. The situation seems tense as Sky's Kay Burley got a worrying text message on air from a former Tory minister who didn't hold back, warning last week's tax-slashing budget could crash the economy.
She's taking on markets and the Bank of England. Her, Kwasi, Phil, Simon are playing A-level economics with people's lives.
And it's already having an effect. Britain's largest mortgage lender, Halifax, has pulled mortgages with fees in response to turmoil in British funding markets. Prati Kwarteng had indicated there'll be a medium-term plan announced on November the 23rd, but Labour's Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves is blaming the Chancellor's mini-budget announcement for the pound falling so low.
The pound is now at an all-time low against the dollar, and that is not the same for other currencies, including the euro. So there is something going on in the UK. It's not just dollar strength. There is a selling off of the pound, and that was on the basis of the Chancellor's so-called mini-budget on Friday.
Tuesday is day 3 of the Labour conference, and Sir Keir Starmer's expected to capitalise on the disastrous first steps of Liz Truss's new government. He'll invoke the spirit of Tony Blair to dub Labour the political wing of the British people, as he accuses the Tories of having lost control of the economy in the centre ground. A YouGov poll published on Monday evening following Friday's mini-budget gives Labour the largest lead in the polling company's history and puts the opposition at 45, up 5 points to Conservatives' 28, down 4 points. Monday also saw delegates vote to adopt proportional representation for the next general election. Meanwhile, Shadow Transport Minister Louise Haigh used her speech on Monday to pledge to nationalise the railways.
We will improve services and lower fares, and yes, conference. Labour in power will bring our railways back into public ownership where they belong.
Ed Miliband was also throwing shade, accusing his Tory counterpart of having dangerous climate denial. On Monday, the Shadow Climate Change Secretary set out his ambitious zero-carbon power target in his address to Labour Party members.
I'm so proud to say a Labour government will make Britain the first country in the world to set and achieve the target of zero-carbon power by 2030.
In Russia, a day of shootings brought violence onto the country's own front doorstep. The rebellion against Putin's military call-up escalated with the killing of a draft officer by a man angry at his friend's conscription in a horrifying moment captured on video. There was also a deadly shooting at a school in central Russia as a former pupil opened fire. The gunman, with a swastika on his T-shirt, killed 15 people, including 11 children, and wounded 24 before committing suicide. President Putin expressed his sorrow and called the school shooting an inhuman terrorist attack. He also chose Monday to sign a decree granting Russian citizenship to former US intelligence contractor Edward Snowden. Snowden's still wanted by the United States, and State Department spokesperson Ned Price says Putin's declaration will change nothing.
Mr. Snowden should return to the United States, where he should face justice as any other American citizen would. Perhaps the only thing that has changed is that as a result of his Russian citizenship, apparently now he may well be conscripted to fight in Russia's war in Ukraine.
Iran has warned the West not to get involved after widespread protests were triggered by the death of a young woman who'd been detained by the country's morality police. The EU and the US are considering further sanctions against Iran over the attempt to suppress demonstrations and strikes in universities, which have been going on for days now over the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in a police detention centre. Her cousin Urfa Mortazei spoke to Sky News detailing what happened.
During the journey to the police station, she was tortured and insulted. Once they reached the holding room at the station, Mahsa, because of the torture, lost consciousness
and collapsed.
Still to come on the Smart 7, England versus Germany turns into a 6-goal thriller, and Game of Thrones favourite Maisie Williams explains her own family drama. Right after this. Welcome back. England's unhappy run of results in the Nations League continued with a 6-goal stalemate. On Monday night, they faced Germany in Wembley, desperately in need of a win after 2 draws and 3 defeats in their last 5 games, including a loss to Italy on Saturday that saw them relegated to B Group in the Nations League. The pressure on Gareth Southgate's been intensifying with less than 2 months to the World Cup. It did look like Harry Kane had saved the day with a penalty after 83 minutes, but Germany equalised and Gareth was back in the spotlight.
Done really well to stay in the game, get back into it, get the lead. Then unfortunately another error, but look, the fight in the team, the mentality in the team was showed out there today. We didn't get the win, but we can be proud of what we've done and think it puts us in a good place going into the World Cup.
Game of Thrones star Maisie Williams has broken down in tears during an emotional podcast interview. The actress, best known for playing Arya Stark, opened up about her struggles with mental health and the traumatic relationship with her father on the Diary of a CEO podcast. She explained how she unravelled the mystery of her own life through therapy.
It was the first time that, it was all of the doors were sort of open and all of these things that we were experiencing were, out on the table. And because I was indoctrinated in a way. I think that's why I'm obsessed with cults, because I'm I get it. I get it. I was in a child cult against my mother.
Making the leap from video game to TV screens is no easy feat, but The Last of Us makes it look effortless. HBO just dropped the trailer for the post-apocalyptic drama thriller, and it sees Pedro Pascal as Joel and Bella Ramsey as Ellie trying to make their way across an America ravaged by a spore outbreak that turns the infected into nightmarish coral zombies.
Say who you can save. Oh, please understand.
Ahead of the series release next year, star Bella Ramsey's given a hint of what we can expect.
Fans can expect similar themes to the game, and it'll feel very familiar, but with a whole new fresh, I was going to say breath of fresh air, and then I was going to say fresh take, and it got mixed up. But you're going to love it.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day. Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.